Alright, hello everyone. This video is basically, I'm going to explain a few things about the reason why I won't sell my stuff. First off, I won't get very much out of it for another thing. My computer monitors, I may get what? Maybe lucky to get $25 price if they sell. My desktop computer is over 10 years old. Might get lucky to maybe close to a bonus of about maybe $100, maybe depending on what I have in it. My computer's kind of old, and again, everything's pretty much outdated what I have. Okay, my DJ equipment, again, most of it's been made by me personally, and a lot of it's not the high-end stuff. So I won't be making very much off anything of whatever. It's like saying to a mechanic, if a mechanic goes like, "Why don't you sell your tools?" Again, a mechanic, well, how's he going to fix cars to make money? You know, you got to make. I got some my income. Another, put it in, like, if you sell your tools, you're not going to make money. Everything I got here is tools. All my computer stuff is tools. My DJ equipment is tools. Okay, if I sell that, I have no way to make money whatsoever. Or you'd be homeless and they have no way to make money. Yeah, that's maybe somewhat true. But if I find a location where I can put my tools at and use them there, I can still make money.
I'm here though.
So there's no reason. And plus, I worked hard over time getting this stuff. And again, if I had to start from scratch and reset, you know, I worked over about, I'd say, over 10 years getting this stuff together. 10 years. And again, I mean, look, at this point, okay, if I give it all, I have to start all over again, pay out money I don't have to get it again, then how do I make money to get the stuff again?
I'm here.
No way to do it. No, I'm nothing. Nobody's going to be giving me computers or DJ equipment, nothing like that. So where again I'm going to get that? Where am I going to get the money to get that stuff again? You know, why I don't get a job? Well, let's see. Basically, I had applied to get a job. I tried to get a job, and I'm still trying to get a job. Okay? It's not like a lack of trying. So, I don't know, you guys are so ignorant and stupid about the reason why I don't get a job. You know, you don't know shit what's going on out here, and I'm going through just to get a job. Let's put it in another perspective of the selling my stuff. Okay, here about you had a part-time job, it ain't cutting what you need to pay your rent, and you're still having a hard time finding another job just to make up what you need to make. So are you going to quit your part-time job even though you don't have a job lined up? Even though you're going to go homeless? Because of that? You're going to what? You're going to quit your part-time job even though it's making your money? So would you quit your part-time job, even though you're not making a whole lot of money of it, because you're not making a lot of money? So you're going to quit it if you don't have another job lined up. Okay, that's smart. Then you have no money coming in whatsoever. What do you think I'm going to get out of this? You think everybody? It's like when I go on Craigslist, when I go look at computers, they think they got gold. It's like even people selling their used cars. They think they got gold when they sell them. They ask for out of the ballpark prices and stuff. And it's ridiculous. And they don't sell most of the time. I've seen stuff there and they have to drop their prices just to sell it.
I'm here.
So I'm not going to sell my tools so then I won't able to make any money. That makes no sense whatsoever. And if you think otherwise, then you're just stupid idiots. Go ahead and sell your shit. But I'm not going to sell my stuff because you think I need it, because I should do it and get some money. You know, what's going to do me any good with that money, period, for that reason? I ain't going to get much out of it. It's not worth it. That's why I will not sell my stuff for any reason. It makes me money. Not a whole lot, but again, that's saying telling a part-time person, that's not a whole lot of money. Why don't you quit and get another job? That's what you're telling. Basically, what you're telling me to do is quit my job and try to find another job while I'm not working. That's what you're telling me to do. At least I'm trying to make money on my own without asking for help. So I don't know what you guys, the process of thinking of this is fucking, it's freaking stupid. Think about it really hardly. You're just basically you're asking, if you'll be asking a part-time person just to quit their job, and then go find another one before they even find another one. So I'm gonna just give up everything and not get money whatsoever. So then how would I make money if I don't get a job?
And I will record that too when I'm there.
So it's still an income. And it's still considered a job. Self-employment is considered a job. It's a legal job. DHS sees it that way. Any state programs see it that way. It's income. Get it through your fucking thick heads. It's still an income. So I'm not going to give up my part-time job and look for another job while I'm not have a job to make money. That just makes no sense. I'm not going to quit my job that I'm currently on for whatever makes me a little bit of money and just go look for one after that. That just makes no sense whatsoever. So it's like people said, it's just stupid. You're not gonna. Again, I've been telling. It's like you think I got gold here. I do not have gold here. Yes, I might. You see me. I'm capable of doing things, but pretty much anything computer no older than 10 years can do this stuff. And I put a lot of work into this computer, and a lot of work on all my DJ equipment, just to get where I'm at. You know, I'm not gonna start from scratch again and work my way up again. Yeah, I'm gonna say, fuck you on that. Totally. So and if you don't like my attitude, go fuck yourself. You got the same damn attitude as I do. So I don't fucking care what you fucking think.
I don't have
it's my equipment, saying, right? my money making, and it's not a whole lot. So the fuck what? You can go fucking kiss my ass. My big, fat derriere. And if you don't like my attitude, fuck off. So, yeah. And have a good one.
I don't have an iPhone, you dumbass.
Hello. I'm Sal Flanagan here. For you childish people or acting like a bunch of 5-year-olds, what reason do you really think why I'm fat? May I ask? What kind of thing? I'm overeating, not getting enough exercise, or a lot of other things, or just being too lazy and don't want to get out and do nothing. Okay. Well, there I have basically a medical issue. It's called a pituitary adenoma. It's a tumor on the pituitary gland. Okay? Alright. I'm going to show you a few things here and some other videos I came across. And I'm going to hopefully this educates you. Not every fat person is fat because they overeat or they're too lazy and they don't exercise. You should really educate yourself and get more information about the person's reason why he's fat before you judge what they are and what they're doing. Okay? And I'm going to show you some pictures of my childhood here. Okay? Before I became overweight and fat. So I wasn't overweight and fat all my life. Okay, and here's some pictures, basically. Yeah. Here's one of my school pictures when I was in school, elementary school, elementary. I was probably 7 or 8 years old at 7 or 8 years old at the time. Okay. Here's my other picture of my dad, my real dad, eating a donut. I mean, that's how skinny I was. I was skinny as a twig.
Yeah, I'll take $1.
Okay. I mean, this was my real father. I was about 7 or 8, right there in the age line. I was pretty tall as a kid, of course. Here's another one. I was sitting on Santa's lap. I'm a little bit older, probably close to 9 or 10 years old, right there. Okay. All right. There's another thing. You still don't believe me at this point, probably. I think I'm just making up excuses, of course, like you always say. I make excuses. Here's one of the drugs I take. Carbogaline. It is basically a dopamine receptor agonist. Okay, helps to my tumor, and I'm going to show a video here coming up. She'll explain to you what the pituitary adenoma does to you and your body. There's 3 types of tumors of that does different 3 different things to your body, and pretty much, and I fall in that category. I had an MRI done, okay, beforehand, okay, and they didn't just I had the symptoms when I started I started showing symptoms when I hit puberty, okay. We didn't know what it was. My mom's insurance didn't cover all the testing or what the reasons behind what was causing the symptoms. You know, producing milk in the body and enlarged breasts. My breasts were growing, gaining weight, and stuff like that. You know, it was manufactured. They did little blood work, and it showed signs of a possible whatever they were thinking it was. But again, we didn't have the insurance to cover the other testing, like the MRI. They needed to take in my head to find out what was caused. They couldn't. It didn't. My mom's insurance didn't cover it at the time at all. Okay. After I got done with high school, I was found probably around let's say 98, year 1998. I went to a school up in Plainwell, Michigan, for technical school. Learn how to do basically electronic work, do repairs, stuff like that. Because I was into a lot of computers at the time, and I didn't know how to actually fix computers at the time. Though. I was trying to get an education to actually better myself for a job. Okay, which I was basically before I went to school, I was having a hard time in high school. That's the reason why I didn't graduate in high school, is because I kept falling asleep in class. And if you have the video explain the reason of that too in the video, of the reason why I've been falling asleep in class, can't keep awake, even though I got plenty of sleep just to go to school and everything, but I still fell asleep in class. I couldn't keep awake, regardless of how much sleep I got. The same thing happened to me when I went to the technical school. Even tried to get my GED and diploma and everything else. And I was through Michigan Rehab at the time. When I went for this first semester, they basically, what happened, I had the same trouble falling asleep in class, and the state paid for my medical to find out what was wrong with me. And they actually gave me my very first MRI. That's when they discovered the tumor on my pituitary gland. They determined it was a pituitary adenoma. Okay. After we figured that all out and everything else, basically the counselor of the school sat down with me she explained to me, in order for me to continue to be at the school, I would have to have it taken care of before I even come back again. That's how they explained it to me, because I couldn't keep awake in class. So, after I got back to again, they prescribed me the medication, same medication you seen early on the screen. So that's what that is. So it's supposed to shrink the tumor down. The insurance that basically the state was covering a bit until again, you'll notice in the video this depression was one of the symptoms of the tumor, and being tired, and which I had a lot of those symptoms, and I was deeply depressed after being told I can't come back to take care of this, and after I take care of the tumor, taking the medication, and everything else, trying to get it taken care of. I fell in a very bad spot in my life where I just let everything go. I lost my spot at Mission Rehab, and everything else. I don't blame anybody, but pretty much myself for that whole situation. What basically happened at that point, I just basically tried to get on with my life and try to get jobs and work and stuff like that, and try to make a living on my own without any going back to the school. You know, I had quite a few jobs. I've been working up to 2005. I've been working, in and out of jobs all over the place, and just a lot of them, most of my jobs, I had no more jobs than most of the year. A couple of them last no more than a year. I got fired or something else, or I quit maybe, or temporary work only for factory. Went through basic temp services. And done all that. Went through a lot of that until after the 9/11 thing. And it dropped off from that point forward. Because I had a decently good job for 8 months doing CNC work at over United Metal Technology, and after the 9/11, he let many people go after that happened. What happened? Not just me. And I was always hoping to get hired in. I was through a temp service, and I was doing a damn good job. And too bad he had to cut some people. With the tumor situation, I lost my state assistance with that situation. No more medication. Then finally, the DHS had the Adult Benefit Waiver Program. This is before the Affordable Health Care Act. Got onto it. It covered everything I needed to do, but it wasn't very easy to get onto neither. You had to be on top of it. You had to check on almost a monthly basis to see if there's an opening for it and apply for it. And once you get on it, and I got onto it, got my medication, did another MRI, got all that done, and started it again. Somebody eventually down the road screwed up my paperwork at DHS, so I lost my medical assistance. So there goes the medication, all that stuff. You know, and I lost again, and it took years again just to get back on it. This is close right before the Affordable Care Act started, okay? Because the last time I wrote down was in 2005. Okay, and that's when I lost my insurance, around that time. Basically, when I get to the Affordable Health Care, if I got back on that program, the Adult Benefit Welfare Program, I finally got back on it again, and started to try to get everything taken care of again. It took time because the appointments and schedule took 6 months to a year just to get scheduled to see a doctor to have the tumor taken care of or get everything started. That's all it took for every time I went to go see a doctor. So it wasn't instant. I had to wait and wait and wait. Before I even got far enough into, before I got prescribed the medication, the Affordable Health Care Act kicked in. and it dropped my insurance for the Adult Benefit Waiver Program because DHS took on that Affordable Health Care Act. And then when I got on that program, went to try to start getting back on the medication and go see the endocrinologist and all that again. And after I got to the endocrinologist, and he prescribed me the same medication, and he tried 3 different brands and generic types of the medication. None of my insurance would cover it. Even tried to have the doctor sign off on it. Only they were allowed one time to get it. And that was it. And again, I kept on, and I just didn't get it. I couldn't get it treated. And then eventually, I come to find out, the type of insurance of the Affordable Health Care, there was like 3 types you can choose from through DHS. Somebody told me about Meridian Health Plan. Nobody told me about this until later on down the road. And I got on Meridian Health Plan through the Affordable Health Care Act, and it did cover my medication. See, but nobody tells you this stuff. You have to literally find out for yourself. But okay. Basically, let's get to the actual point of the story here. The reason why I am overweight. It's not because I'm overeating and like that stuff. Okay? I'm going to let Jennifer take it from here. She'll explain how the pituitary adenoma works and what it causes, and let you see what they'll explain. And hopefully this educates anybody and whoever who has the same issue as I do. And it varies between person to person. And just to let you know, some few celebrities had it. One of them is Andre the Giant, and the world's tallest guy. Just to let you know. So you want to look that up, you can. I mean, those 2 people that had that same issue. All right, just to let you know. All right, here's Jennifer. She'll let you know what the pituitary adenoma does and what it does and where it's located.
The pituitary gland is sometimes referred to as the body's master gland. It's an appropriate nickname because this tiny gland acts as a control center for the body's endocrine system. Attached to the brain's hypothalamus, it bridges the gap between the nervous and endocrine systems by receiving signals from the brain and stimulating several hormonal pathways. It oversees growth and development and regulates the function of specific organs and glands. There are 9 major hormones made by the pituitary gland. For this lesson, let's review 3 of them, their function, and their target tissues.
Apparently you care enough to watch, though.
ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone, targets the adrenal gland and stimulates the production of cortisol and aldosterone. GH, growth hormone, targets many cells in the body and functions by stimulating growth and development. Prolactin acts on breast tissue and functions by causing the secretion of milk from mammary glands. Pretty impressive for a gland that is only about the size of a pea. An adenoma is a tumor of a gland, specifically in a gland's epithelial tissue. A pituitary adenoma is, then, a tumor of the pituitary gland. Pituitary adenomas range in size and severity, and their cause is unknown. Macroadenomas are over 1 centimeter. Microadenomas are less than 1 centimeter. Most adenomas are benign, and the ones that are malignant rarely spread to other organs or glands. They may be either functioning, that is, they secrete hormones, or non-functioning, which means they are simply growths on the adrenal gland and do not secrete anything. If you think about the 3 hormones we just covered, you can see why a functioning pituitary adenoma will likely have very profound effects on the body. Because the pituitary gland has so many functions, the symptoms of a pituitary adenoma vary widely. In this lesson, we'll address just a few general symptoms and 3 major conditions caused by pituitary adenoma. General symptoms of pituitary adenomas include those of many brain tumors. These are considered to be mechanical since they're caused by the physical pressure of the tumor on surrounding brain structures. These include headaches, vision problems, depression and other mood disorders, and fatigue. Acromegaly is usually the result of a functioning pituitary adenoma that secretes growth hormone. The condition comes from the body's inability to use its normal feedback pathway to stop the production of growth hormone and the cascade of other hormone pathways that it triggers. The word acromegaly literally means large extremities and accurately describes some of the symptoms of this condition, which include enlargement of body parts like hands, feet, nose, lips, and ears, as well as obtruding brow and lower jaw, joint pain, sleep apnea, and excess perspiration. If the pituitary adenoma produces too much prolactin, it's called a prolactinoma. Prolactin is a hormone that causes breast tissue to make milk. As in acromegaly, prolactin pathway is usually under tight control by the body, stimulated by childbirth and breastfeeding. If not stimulated by these acts, prolactin production normally falls. In women, prolactinomas can cause galactorrhea, the inappropriate production of milk. That is, milk is produced even though a woman is neither pregnant nor nursing. Too much prolactin can also cause infertility and irregular or sometimes absent menstruation, amenorrhea. In men, symptoms of this type of prolactinoma are usually limited to sexual dysfunction and the general symptoms we discussed earlier in this lesson. A condition caused by exposure to high concentrations of cortisol, called Cushing's disease, is often caused by pituitary adenoma. In this condition, the pituitary adenoma secretes ACTH, which acts in the adrenal glands to produce large, uncontrolled amounts of cortisol. Excess cortisol causes weight gain, especially around the face and between the shoulder blades. People who have Cushing's also heal slowly, bruise easily, and may have difficulty controlling their blood sugar. As with symptoms, treatment of pituitary adenomas varies and must be tailored to the needs of the patient. For example, many non-functioning adenomas are simply monitored through MRI. Most macroadenomas, especially those that cause consistent vision problems, are removed surgically, specifically transsphenoidal surgery, entrance through the nasal cavity and the sphenoid bone at the bottom of the skull. Surgery has about an 80% cure rate, especially if followed by radiation. If the tumor is functioning, however, then the upset balance of the endocrine system is sometimes restored through medication. Let's take a look at some of the ways drugs are used to treat the conditions we've discussed. Adenomas that secrete growth hormone are treated primarily with somatostatins, a class of drugs that are synthetic replicas of the naturally produced hormones that prevent growth hormone from being released from the pituitary gland. Prolactinomas are treated, and treated very effectively, with a class of drugs called dopamine receptor agonists. Let's break that down into three parts. First, dopamine is a neurotransmitter. In the brain, one function of dopamine is to inhibit the secretion of prolactin. Second, an agonist is the opposite of an antagonist. Remember, the antagonist of a story is the villain, the character that works against the hero or heroine, while an agonist works with something. Third, dopamine receptor agonists bind to dopamine receptors when no dopamine is present. Therefore, these drugs function by binding to receptors on the pituitary adenoma, preventing prolactin from being secreted. It's important to note that if surgery can be done safely and effectively, it's often used as the first course of treatment. In the case of Cushing's, for example, surgery is almost always the preferred treatment. On the other hand, if the adenoma is very small, it's not uncommon to take a watch and wait approach, that is, to monitor the patient's health and treat symptoms according to need. Let's review. The body's master gland, the pituitary gland, is the control center for the body's endocrine system. Its jobs include overseeing growth and development and regulating the function of specific organs and glands. An adenoma is a tumor of a gland, specifically in a gland's epithelial tissue. Therefore, a pituitary adenoma is a tumor of the pituitary gland. These tumors range in size and severity, and their cause is unknown. Adenomas are sometimes classified by their size and severity. Macroadenomas are over 1 centimeter. Microadenomas are less than 1 centimeter. Most adenomas are benign, and the ones that are malignant rarely spread to other organs or glands. They may be either functioning, that is, they secrete hormones, or non-functioning, which means they do not secrete hormones. The symptoms of pituitary adenoma vary widely. Non-functioning adenomas usually cause symptoms similar to those of most brain tumors, including headaches, vision problems, depression and other mood disorders, and fatigue. Symptoms of a functioning adenoma depend on the hormone they secrete. 3 examples of conditions caused by functioning pituitary adenomas are acromegaly, caused by excess secretion of growth hormone, galactorrhea, caused by prolactinomas, which secrete prolactin, and Cushing's disease, caused by excess secretion of ACTH, which in turn causes excess cortisol production. Treatment of adenomas also varies, with surgery being the most common. Specific drugs are also used for functioning adenomas. Specifically, somatostatins are used to treat acromegaly, and dopamine agonists to treat prolactinomas.
Okay, welcome back. Alright. Now, I hope you got a better understanding what my medical problem is, and the reason why I'm overweight. Okay? Well, they explain everything else to you, the medication, and the surgery, and stuff like that. And it's like people had suggested me to do the gastric bypass surgery, or do the surgery for the pituitary adenoma. Okay, I'm going to show you basically here. Basically, it's not good to be doing surgery for my weight whatsoever. There is a high risk factor in it, and I know surgery has high risk factors. I'm going to have another person explain that to you about that whole situation also. Okay? Alright. I'm going to show you my current weight right now. That's my current weight. Okay? Alright. I've been trying to work at it. I got off pop, basically. I've been drinking diet pop. And it's a diet pop is no better. It's basically carbonated water that diet pop is. Okay, there's no difference between the clear carbonated water you see on the shelves at all. You can read the label and you'll see. Aspartame has side effects, but I haven't had any of the side effects at all with me whatsoever. So, I have lost at least 20 pounds since I've been off that. I've been drinking that lately. I still need to work on my dieting and what food I have to eat. But I still got to work and get a little more exercise, of course. I do need exercise. Yes, I agree with that. A lot of most people on that too. And it's like I explained before, because of my pituitary adenoma, it's causing a lot of issues in my healing, like the wounds on my leg. I've had over a year now, and it still hasn't healed yet. And that's because of the pituitary adenoma. So, okay, trying to think of anything else to explain to you about on this point. I'm going to let basically the doctor explain the reason why it's a high risk factor for me to go under anesthesia for any reason. It's not good for me. Okay? And basically, here's that video.
Significantly overweight.
There are serious risks for obese patients who undergo anesthesia. When a patient is overweight, it will take longer to wake up from anesthesia. They have a higher risk of blood clots, respiratory failure, operating